From ABC West Lanes in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, it's the 5th of 22 Open Division qualifiers of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. And welcome to the beautiful Cumberland Valley. We're here near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the grand finals of this week's championship round of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Hello everybody, I'm Earl Anthony, and you can see I'm standing here all alone. Bob Dolan, our normal announcer, had a family crisis and couldn't be here. Joining me in the booth today will be our assistant producer, Mike Jakubowski. We had a great final matches. Getting into this position, these teams all bowled extremely well, and it was very challenging for all of them. Any one of the three could have been the tournament leader. ESP, the tournament leaders, as it worked out, are a local team, and they are championed, you might say, by two of the finest bowlers in the Pennsylvania area, the Bower brothers. Trophies Unlimited in second place from Richmond, Virginia, has their hands full bowling strike-in bowling supply from Rochester, New York in our opening match. And we'll be back with that opening match right after these messages.
It's not whether you win or lose. It's whether you win.
The meek may inherit the earth, but they'll never bowl a perfect game.
When do they add the quality to Lynn shoes? It's in every step of the manufacturing process. Quality in every step of your approach. Lynn shoes. Looking for more strikes and more bowling fun? Then look no further than Going for the Gold with Team USA coach Fred Borden. As today's top instructor, Coach Borden will show you ways to reach your full potential. Professional bowlers Mike Albee and Leila Wagner work with Coach Borden to show you the sure way to higher scores. This 12-lesson video is available for only $24.95.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Lynn Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn Shoes, the choice of bowlers worldwide. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
And we are ready to get started in our opening match. These two teams have been struggling all day to get to this point, but it's been a really good finals. And opening it up for strike-in bowling supply will be Ron Legler, their leadoff man. Good start there, Mike, huh?
That's what you want, Earl, right in the pocket, opening first ball. We'll go down to Trophies Unlimited, get our first look at Kip Roberts.
Only 18 years old, this young man. He's a student. Just really getting into the competitive level of bowling, you might say. Learning what it's all about.
What happened there, Earl?
Well, I think we see it almost every week. The same thing happens. If a player gets the ball out near the edge of the channel, and we'll take a look at that shot here. Watch how close he gets to the edge of the channel, or the edge of the lane there. There seems to be a buildup of oil or like an out of bounds out there, Mike, and the ball just won't make the turn to get back to the pocket. He was very fortunate, really leaving only the 1-2. Pretty easy spare here. Good cover.
And Roberts on the cover. Off the blocks, the rallying cry for the Trophies Unlimited team, Earl, was basically, if I don't get a strike, leave me something I can make. Now let's take a look at Jay Nephew.
Jay is a bowler. That's his occupation, and looks like he throws it pretty well. So maybe he's doing pretty good at that occupation. League average of 229 for Jay Nephew. 30 years old.
229 is a bunch of pins in your league at home, Earl, but it's a different situation when you get out here under the lights and under the Baker format.
And across the 10, we've got the 10 pin, no problem there, going cross lane. You'll see a lot of the bowlers switching bowling balls to get that smoother shell so they can get the ball to skid into the spares. And this is our first look at Wayne Sheridan, 49-year-old, owns the trophy company that the team is named after, Trophies Unlimited.
Take a look at our Contour Power Grips starting lineup, brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Trophies Unlimited, Roberts, Wayne Sheridan, Paul Zevgolis, Kip Roberts, and the anchor, John Beasley.
Wayne Sheridan, the left-hander. There are two left-handers on this team, Wayne Sheridan and, of course, Paul Zevgolis, both of them with a lot of experience on the PBA Tour in recent, or not recent years, but over the years.
On our first look at Bob Hoefer for Strike-In Bowling Supply. And let's take a look at their lineup as well. Hoefer in the 3-8 position, to be followed by Kretchmer and Ray Sear. Crossing over for the strike is Hoefer.
Well, you see a lot of that in the World Team Challenge when the bowlers, all really they're trying to do is get something to fill frames, and there's nothing wrong with crossing the head pin. There's no shame in this. They want them all down. That's all they care about.
And Earl, here's another lefty you're familiar with for Trophies Unlimited, Paul Zevgolis.
I used to bowl with Paul on the PBA Tour a number of years ago, and he hasn't really changed much. He looks pretty much the same. He still looks pretty young for a 49-year-old guy. Paul has 2 regional PBA titles to his credit, and currently bowling at a 225 average in the league back home in the Richmond area. See how he holds the ball? Looks like he's got a 6-shooter on his hip there. He's pull that thing right out of the holster and let her go. Paul always been a good spare shooter.
And right on top of the 4-pin is Zevgolis. Strike-In Bowling Supply with an early 2-pin lead here in the early going. Our first match, first Baker match. This, of course, our first of 2 games in the Baker system. The 4-9 on Ryan Kretchmer's shirt indicates that he will bowl the 4th and the 9th frames in this game. Kretchmer a bit high, leading the 6-10.
You see him walking over to the right there, Mike. He's going to get another bowling ball, and he'll use as much of the lane as he can to get this spare. He'll stand to the left, cross the center of the lane with the ball, and try to throw it hard and straight right into that 6-10.
This is Kretchmer's 3rd TV appearance on the Brunswick World Team Challenge.
Careful.
Picking up the spare, Earl. Kretchmer has won in each opportunity he's had. He's made 2 prior TV appearances, winning in April 1995 in Edmond, Oklahoma with the Madsen's B&B team, and also in October in Wichita, Kansas with the Columbia team. So he's yet to lose on television.
Well, that's pretty successful. I'd say 2 for 2. That's pretty tough. The World Team Challenge being one of the more difficult formats to win at the Baker system. Our first look at Kip Roberts. And that's what happens when you get it in that oil out there and the ball just doesn't make the turn soon enough. The ball did start to hook, but it was behind the head pin when it got there, and he leaves a very difficult 2-4-10. And the idea here is to go cross lane at it, try to get just enough of that 2-pin to slide it across into the 10. The ball, of course, would take out the 4.
And just a bit shy. First open frame of the contest belongs to Trophies Unlimited, and we get a look at our anchor player for Strike-In Bowling Supply. This is Ray Sear.
And Mike, in watching, you and I were watching the match play all day today, basically, and watching it, it seemed like that a lot of the matches came down to the anchormen, and so we might see that again today during the telecast as it comes down to people like Sear and, of course, the anchorman John Beasley for the Trophies Unlimited team. It should be quite a matchup if it gets to that point. Both of them are outstanding players.
Sear got a lot of that ball. Big strike for Ray Sear. Take a look at our round by round, Earl. This is very interesting this week. Trophies Unlimited qualified at 9. Started out in the bottom position of our 10-team Baker match play and worked their way to the 2nd position.
It's kind of unique that they were in 6th with only 2 matches to go and made it to the top 3. Really made a rush. That shows you how close it was all through the match play, though. Here's our first look at John Beasley, the anchor man for Trophies Unlimited. John playing that extreme outside angle. He got it back. That's a great shot.
And that's a strike for Trophies Unlimited.
We'll be back with more of our opening match right after these messages. And we're back and ready to go again. Ron Legler going the 2nd time through the lineup for Strike-In Bowling Supply. They at this point on a strike in the 5th frame and trailing by 16 pins.
25-year-old right-hander making his first TV appearance here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Light in the pocket, gets the mixer. 5-7 last to fall.
And he's 2 for 2 so far, so he's making it count. Here's another look at that shot. Just enough of the head pin, as they used to say, hit him thin and watch him spin. You can see the head pin doing all the damage, comes off the wall, takes out the 4-5-7.
And Kip Roberts with his 2nd opportunity. 18 years old, making his 2nd Team Challenge TV appearance. Earl, how many 18-year-olds do you know with the qualities of a bowler to make it on this type of shot?
Well, not very many. It takes generally a lot of experience. If we get another look at that shot, right through the middle of the head pin and leaving the 3-6, but not a tough spare here. Tripp's going to stand to the left, use a lot of the lane, get both pins with the ball.
And he picks up the spare on a nice cross lane shot. Strike in our first game.
You know, some of the names that come to mind, excuse me, Mike, that were outstanding bowlers at a young age are Dick Weber, obviously, very young, but Marshall Holman was outstanding. But Dick Weber's son, Pete Weber, unbelievable. When he was 12 years old, his first game as bowled in an adult league, bowled 300. Now that's really doing something. 12 years old.
Jay Nephew with a strike and a 3-bagger for Strike-In Bowling Supply.
Puts him right in the hunt for that high roller score bonus. You know, if the team bowls a 240 game or better, or 452 game series, they have an opportunity to pick up an extra $500 bonus. And that from the high score bonus is brought to you by the High Roller people. Their tournament series, one of the outstanding amateur events in the country. Wayne Sheridan leaving only the 6. Should be pretty easy spare for the lefty. He's been around a long time. I remember when he used to throw a full roller, he switched to the 3/4 roll, and that's tough to do. And you can see Wayne still a little problem with the timing, getting the ball to the foul line. He still gets there like a full roller and tries to turn it like a 3/4, so it's hard to do.
Here's Bob Hoefer. Chance to extend the lead here in the first game for Strike-In Bowling Supply. Menacing look.
Bob's pretty serious about this. He wants to get something done.
Catches the 6-10 for a 4-bagger for Strike-In Bowling Supply, extending the lead.
And here's another look at it. You can see him playing right between that 2nd and 3rd arrow, and he's just saying, I'm going to aim at the middle of the head pin and hope it goes one side or the other. Bob's reaction to that shot, nothing to this game. Of course, you can see the guys on the bench are a little more into it.
We've bowled this format, Earl. We know how fun it is.
Paul Zevgolis leaving only the 6. Briefly had the 6-8. Would have been a tough spare. Good shot by Paul. He and Wayne Sheridan both leaving 6 pins. The 2 left-handers for this team. We have 4 left-handers on the show today. Their team ESP, who's the tournament leaders, the local team, have 2 left-handers. And the local stars, Gary Bower and his brother, Darryl, are on that team, leading the tournament.
And Zevgolis picks up the 6. Now we turn to Ryan Kretchmer. That 240 game still in play for the high roller bonus, and they are on a 4-bagger. Kretchmer's 22, making his 3rd Brunswick World Team Challenge TV appearance.
I wonder if they're even thinking of the $500 bonus. I think they're probably thinking more of just get as big a lead as we can on this Trophies Unlimited team and win this game so we can bowl for the championship.
Solid in the pocket for Ryan Kretchmer. That's 5 in a row for Strike-In Bowling Supply.
Well, they're only 1 strike away, and it comes down to the anchor man. And here's another look at that shot. You can see he's playing between the third and fourth arrow with a lot more side rotation, which makes the ball curve more obviously on the back end, and it's 10 in the pit.
Kip Roberts opened in his first opportunity back in the fourth. Looks like a better shot. Like the pocket and carrying.
That's where you want it from that angle, I think, Mike. I think you want the ball to just get enough of the head pin to get that head pin mixing it up down there, and the opportunity is pretty good to get a strike.
Strike in with a 58-pin lead going into the 10th frame, and handing it off to anchor bowler Ray Sear.
Well, if they're aware of it, and they probably are. I was just kidding about not being aware of that $500 bonus. This is the one that they need right here.
Come on, be there. Be there.
High, leaving a tough combination.
Well,
3-9-10.
now, the idea here now is, more importantly, is to fill the frame. Don't give the opportunity for Trophies Unlimited to get back into this match this quickly, this easily. Remember, their anchor man comes up, throws 2 in the 10th. They've got a 200 game, strike and spare, and gets an open here. They're only at 220. And it looked like it could have been a 40, 50, 60 pin lead. Might only be a 20 pin lead.
And Sear filling frames well in match play, 88%, only 7 opens during the entire 20 game.
Wants to fit it right between the 3 and the 10. And he just got a little too much of that 3 pin.
Just missed, but with Kip Roberts striking the 9th frame.
You know, look at this ball, just drives a little bit too much in the back end. It looks good, but watch it grip the lane here, turn in, and the ball just hits a little bit too hard into the 3 pin and takes out the 9.
And here's John Beasley, Earl, with a chance to draw a little bit closer for Trophies Unlimited.
Well, this is a big day in more than one way for John Beasley. This is his anniversary, their 7th anniversary, and he wants to say to Terry, his wife, I wish I was there, darling, but I'm trying to win this tournament.
Oh, hit it outside, leaving a washout.
Well, maybe that's what's on his mind. That's why he made that kind of a shot. What do you think? Think he's
Could
feeling?
be.
You think he's feeling a little remorseful that he's here bowling instead of home with his wife on his anniversary? What do you think?
Well, it could be. Although I did talk with Wayne Sheridan before the match, and he mentioned that everybody on this team was playing outside, and that he felt that was different from any of the other teams. The lefties and the righties are all playing outside.
I've always felt when you're going to play that outside angle, and it's a tricky shot, as this seems to be, that you've got to go. Look at that shot, huh? Off the wall, the head pin. That you've got to go more end over end roll. The more you turn the ball, the harder it is to control the break point. And here's another look at that shot. Now watch what happens is the ball hits the head pin almost head on, drives the 2 pin into the wall, and it comes all the way back across the lane and kicks out the 10. That's fantastic. What a great break that is.
It's a great break, and it means at least 10 pins.
Look at the turnaround there. Strike in Bowling Supply had an opportunity to really put this game away and build a big lead. They opened the 10th. Trophies Unlimited could have given them a bigger lead. Instead, they get the spare, and they're right back in it.
And Beasley finishing up with the strike. We'll return with more from ABC West Lanes in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, right after this.
I've won 23 PBA titles and 2 ABC Masters with Contour Power Grips. They're my choice. Don't you think they should be your choice?
That's a winner, folks. What a great performance by Ernie Schlegel.
You know, Earl, I never really thought I had anything in common with you until I won the ABC Masters title.
Ah, but Ernie, I won the Masters twice.
But Earl,
And Ernie, I've won 46 times on the PBA tours.
But Earl,
And I'm also been elected to both the ABC and PBA Halls of Fame.
Okay, enough. I get the picture.
Well, there is one thing we do have in common, Ernie.
We
both use Contour Power Grips.
And they give me the feel I want shot after shot.
That's right, and they have the styles and colors that can make anybody's game better.
Contour Power Grips will also help me win my 2nd Masters title, too.
Yeah, Ernie.
Contour Power Grips, manufactured by the pioneers in the finger grip industry, Pro Sports Systems. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. Ask your Pro Shop professional for Contour Power Grips.
Absolute power corrupts.
Abso-freaking-lutely!
It's not enough to love the game. You gotta love to win.
Don't roll with the punches. Throw them.
And welcome back to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And here's some high games this week, Mike. And we had some good ones. Team games. Turbo 2-in-1 Grips had an outstanding 11-24. ESP, who are our tournament leaders, 11-23. So the scoring was reasonably good, but it wasn't that easy crossing lanes, obviously, pairs. And you see some individual high games.
Jim Pensack, 277 in the middle of that, 690. And Ray Sear, high series at 707.
Jim Pensack again, right back in there. Jim Pensack bowled on the tour a little bit. And speaking of high averages, there's some for you. 216 this week. Jason Lower, 215. And again, speaking, Mike Shaughness, who had the high average a couple of weeks ago in Winter Haven, Florida, and we erroneously reported someone else did. He led it with 219. And by the way, he's moving from Florida back up to Pittsburgh. So welcome back to Pittsburgh, Mike.
All right, our second match, Trophies Unlimited, moves to the left lane. Possessing a 43-pin lead, Kip Roberts with a pair of spares in the first Baker game.
A little different angle there. Now, he didn't get anywhere near the channel on that one. Looked like it was more, a little right between the first and second arrow, and he really lined it with a little more ball speed. Here's another look at it. Right around the 9 board, and a lot more ball speed, a little more directly to the pocket. So he kept it out of that out-of-bounds area, and he got a good result.
And here's Ron Legler. 204 in qualifying. That, of course, a 6-game qualifying block. Catches the 9-pin.
This is a 2-game match, total pins to decide the winner, and the winner, of course, will take on the tournament leaders, ESP. This particular format we bowl under is a very unique format, the Baker system match play, and of course the 6 regular team games of qualifying. And after those 6 games of the total pins, we take the top 10 into match play. They bowl 10 2-game matches with bonus pins awarded. If you win the game, you get 15. If you win both games, obviously you'll get 30 plus 20 for winning the series. So there's 50 bonus pins available. And here's a crossover for Wayne Sheridan. He trips out the 4-pin. He couldn't trip the 6-pin earlier on lane 44, so now he's going to cross and trip out the 4 maybe, huh? We're bowling on lanes 43 and 44 at ABC West lanes here in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Very close to the state capital of Harrisburg.
Jay Nephew with a double, and each team opens with a double. How tough is 43 pins, Earl, to make up in the Baker format?
Goes very quickly. All it takes is an open or two and a double by your opposition, and all of a sudden it gets very close, Mike. And we've seen it happen so many times. It seems like an almost insurmountable lead in one game, but it can turn around so quickly in the Baker system.
Cutting through, picking up the strike is Zevgolis. Looked a little slow, Earl.
Well, the Jersey squasher, we used to call this. Here's a look at it again. He's playing just outside the 3rd arrow. Ball goes well down the lane before it picks up a revolution, and you can see the head pin did most of the damage, just jumping on those 3 pins in the corner. The 4, 7, 8. And Paul's reaction, and Tripp doesn't look too excited about it.
Here's Hoefer. Crossing.
That must be the shot of the day. Let's aim at the middle and hope it crosses. It seems to be working well for everyone.
Well, they've changed lanes, Earl. How much does that make a difference?
Well, it does make a difference. And the teams that are really aware and pay attention are the ones that'll do the best when they switch lanes, because they would have been watching their opposition. But the difference here, and maybe a major difference, is that Trophies Unlimited has 2 left-handers on their team. And so, and 3 right-handers playing outside. So they're not even playing anywhere near the same angle, as you might say. We'll be back with more of this opening match after these messages.
And we're back. Mike Jakubowski along with Earl Anthony in the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Kip Roberts standing in the 4th frame for Trophies Unlimited with an opportunity to have his team remain perfect. And picking up the mixer is Kip Roberts. That's 4 in a row for Trophies Unlimited.
You know, it seems like time after time when the teams do switch lanes, which we always do in the format that we use for our Baker system finals, someone seems to have one lane they can score on better than the other. We saw Strike In Bowling Supply do quite well on the left-hand lane, and now that we've switched lanes, and now it's Trophies Unlimited. They're doing the same thing, stringing the strikes. So maybe that left lane is a little easier, or maybe the oil pattern just helps them get the ball to the pocket a little better than it does on the right-hand lane, but lane 44 just doesn't seem to react quite as well.
And a little luck doesn't hurt either, Earl.
Oh, a little luck definitely helps, especially the two left-handers crossing the head pin. But they seem to be getting a good ball reaction right around the second arrow. The two right-handers that have bowled so far for Trophies Unlimited.
Hard and straight there.
Yeah, hard and straight. That seems to be the answer for spare shooting in the new young generation. They like to throw it hard.
Is it more important to have a ball for spares, or is it more important to have the correct shot for spares?
I think if you're using reactive resin bowling balls, it's very important to have a ball for spares. It's obviously you need to have good fundamentals to be a good spare shooter, and most of these bowlers do have those good fundamentals. They know the mechanics of moving, using a lot of the lane to shoot your spares and things of that nature. The thing is, though, with these reactive resin bowling balls, they're so hard to control that if they hit a little dry area, they tend to really hook. Hit a little oily area, they tend to really slide. So using them to shoot spares is probably not a good idea.
John Beasley coming up a bit short, leaving the 1 and the 2.
John seemed to have given that ball a little more room than he had the other shots. Just didn't make the turn back. See if he moves around a little bit for the spare. Get away from that out of bounds area and just throw it right at him. No, he's going to hook it up there. That's dangerous. He got it. Surprises me he would do that.
Beasley with the spare as Trophies Unlimited chips into that lead. And here's Ray Sear with a strike and an open on the day so far.
See the concentration and the look in his eye. I watched him earlier when he had to perform and do quite well in the 10th frame for his team, and he likes to hook it. Here's the big turn. Got it out of bounds again. That seems to be the place. You get it out there anywhere near that 7th or 6th board out there, and here's another look at that shot. And watch this ball, and it leaves his hand. It's going right, gets right to that area. It just doesn't make the turn. It doesn't pick up the roll that he wants to get back to the pocket. And this is not an easy spare for the right-hander. The 1, 2, 4. He wants to get all 3 of these pins with the ball if possible. So he's going to try to hook it across the head pin and let the ball do all the work for him. Yeah, the switch ball is going to a spare ball for this shot. Kind of surprises me.
Hard and straight.
Hard and straight. Yeah, he covered it very well.
And it picked it up. Strike in bowling supply, 17 pins. From 43. So they've picked up 26 pins, Earl, in just about actually 5 frames.
And I'm sure both teams now, as we go through the lineup the last time in this match, both teams are feeling some pressure now because they know that any mistake could be the difference in the match. And there's a great start for the last 5 frames. All he can do now is sit and wait. Trip's all done. He can't help his team anymore, and this is just a great shot. Right in the pocket area. He really had the ball rolling hard, and here's a good look at his reaction, and he's up in the air. He's in the air as the 5-pin went in the air, just about the same time there. Trip airborne.
Here's Legler for strike in. A little bit short.
Had a wall shot almost go down. Last time he did carry it light hit. This time he leaves a 2-5, and another difficult spare here because there's a lot of ways to miss it.
You know, Earl, Ron converted the 4-6 split in the position round match, and that was what they felt propelled them into their position at this point.
Well, you and I were standing there watching that, and he bounced it out of the pit. It was fantastic. Just, the ability to throw the ball hard can be a real benefit sometimes.
And he picks up the spare.
And we're going to take a look at some of the upcoming events. In November 23rd and 24th, we'll be in Orange County at Regal Lanes. That'll be a joint women and men tournament there. In December 7th and 8th, Hilltop Lanes in Ogden, Utah.
First stop out to the Ogden area.
Will be January 4th and 5th down in the Sunshine in Seminole Lanes in Seminole, Florida, and then in Showboat Lanes in Las Vegas. And those are both, I believe, doubles.
Yes,
men
they
and
are.
Women tournaments.
Then we move to Brunswick West Creek Lanes in Fort Worth, Texas. 4 doubles in a row. Action for team players, both in the Open Division and Women's Division.
My hometown, New Frontier Lanes in Tacoma, Washington, March 8th and 9th, and the 22nd, 23rd at Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. A chance to get back up into the pretty country up there and maybe even see my sister lives up in that area. How about that, huh? And if you'd like to enter the Brunswick World Team Challenge, here's our hotline number. You just call 414-423-3387. We'll be back with the completion of our opening match right after this little break.
You're a winner, and you deserve recognition. In sanctioned leagues and tournaments, 2 million awards are handed out each year by the national governing bodies of bowling, the American Bowling Congress, the Women's International Bowling Congress, and the Young American Bowling Alliance.
But your membership card entitles sanctioned league bowlers to more than the awards program.
There's more than $1 million each for college scholarships and veterans hospitals, bowlers supporting their communities.
Every member has a chance to compete in thousands of special events, locally, nationally, and internationally.
Sanctioned leagues also provide for the standardization of rules and supplies, plus league prize money is bonded.
Equipment testing and research helps advance the sport.
Your membership card does all that.
And every lane is inspected annually by local association volunteers. In short, everything runs smoother, and sanctioned leagues are a lot more fun.
So have more fun and help shape the future of bowling by making sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies, the ABC, WIBC, or YABA.
Here's a look at the score. Currently 15 pins separating these two teams as we come down to the nitty-gritty, the last 4 frames of our opening match. The winner to go on and challenge ESP for the title.
Chance for Sheridan to cut into the lead. And does so convincingly. Solid in the pocket.
Remember that high roller score bonus brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series, a $500 bonus for a 240 game or better, and they are very close to that right now at a 238 pace for Trophies Unlimited. 1 strike and stay clean, and they've got it.
Not to mention cutting this lead into single digits. Oh, and answering back is Nephew. All kinds of possibilities, Earl.
Yep, another look at that last shot, and you can see the good heavy roll in the end. That's what you need to carry these pins out, these brand new Brunswick pins down there. You got to hit them to get them. Look at the style of Paul Zevgolis. He turns sideways, keeps his hips pretty square to his target line, opens his shoulders, and then squares them up at the foul line. And back-to-back Jersey squashers, and that's a $500 shot right there if they can just hang on and stay clean. And maybe a chance to win this match. They're right there. This is as close as it gets. We're coming down to the final few bowlers.
Kind of looked like he didn't want to own up to that shot, Earl, the way he turned around.
Oh, well, I bet he's real happy right now. He says, hey, it looks real good on the score sheet. Doesn't matter how they went down.
Here's Hoefer, chance to double. And they're starting to light things up, Earl.
Boy, they are. I'll tell you what.
All of a sudden, out of that last commercial break, we got balls in the pocket left and right.
Guys are getting real serious now. This match right down to the nitty-gritty, and only 5 pins separating these two teams. And these are the guys that have to perform in this situation, the guys bowling 4th and 5th.
Take a look at Trophies Unlimited. Only 1 blemish in the 5th, otherwise all strikes. Here's Kip Roberts. 2 strikes and an open on the day thus far.
Strike here would lock up that $500 bonus, plus give them.
He watched that one all the way, Earl.
Chance to, they are really lined up on that outside angle, and they were the only guys that we watched that were playing that angle, playing somewhere around that second arrow or just outside of it and going up at them.
The way Kip looked at that, you kind of think he was almost waiting for the 8-pin to appear, because it seemed to be that might be the kind of angle that would produce that kind of spare, but nope, they fell. Here's Ryan Kretchmer on a double.
They have to keep matching, or they whatever they do, the other team has to do. It just is, you do it, I have to do it. And look at the excitement and the enthusiasm of the teams coming up off the bench. I don't want any of those high fives on me. I'll tell you, those guys can hurt you.
And as happens time and time again, Earl, we hand it off to the anchor players.
Well, John Beasley, you know, struggled on this lane last time, missing the head pin. Basically, throwing the ball quite wide, not hooking it back to see if he tightens up the line. He did use his spare shot to line up, which was a good idea, even though I didn't like the idea of maybe missing the spare.
Waiting for it to hook, and it just didn't.
Looked like he made a pretty good shot to me there. I really liked the release. Looked like he got plenty on it, just maybe gave it a little too much room, and it didn't come back to the pocket. And here's another look at that shot. You can see he gets it out around the first arrow, and there's the skid point right there. Just once it started to skid at that point, it just couldn't get back. Not enough. The lane's just not long enough to get the ball back from there. And this really is a must spare. An opportunity here to be a big hero if he can pick this one up. The 210. Slide it across the 2-pin into the 10. Got a chance. Oh my, that was close. The $500 bonus may not look that great if they lose this match, because they have an opportunity, if they win it, obviously, to win the championship and go on to our grand final. Comes down to the anchormen. Here we go.
This is why they wear the 5-0, Earl, to have the ball in this situation.
Big break there. Only needing a mark. You got a big break there. Middle of the head pin, left only the 3 and the 6. Could have been a lot worse if that had anything standing on the left side of the lane. Who knows what would have happened. They got their $500 bonus, but there you can see them all checking the score and realizing that 242 just wasn't quite enough. Strike in had got that first strike in the 10th. They would have got the $500 bonus from High Roller also for a 450 series.
Sear with the spare. Strike in will advance to our championship match and face ESP.
Should be a great match. 2 lefties on that team also, ESP and plus the Bower boys.
How much difference does it make, Earl, from the left or the right side?
Well, what happens is that the left side seems to hold up longer, the conditioner. On the other hand, the right-handers carry the conditioner down, and after a certain period of time of carrying it down, the shot actually gets easier. Oh my, he almost didn't get any there.
2, or did he get 3?
I believe he got 3. All right, well, we do have a winner, and you can see the handshakes and the good sportsmanship that always abounds at the World Team Challenge. You see the final score, and coming up next will be Around the Bowling World right after this brief timeout. Now it's time to go around the bowling world, brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas. Congratulations to Gerald Tessman of Maplewood, Minnesota on being named Bowling Inc.'s new chairman of the board. Tessman is seen here on the left, escorting ABC Hall of Famer Sam Weinstein during this year's American Bowling Congress Hall of Fame ceremony in Salt Lake City. Tessman replaces Joyce Deitch, who assumes her position as Secretary-Treasurer of the Bowling Inc. board. Gerald Tessman is currently serving bowling as the American Bowling Congress Executive Vice President. The membership and service organizations of bowling have formed Bowling Inc. in an effort to streamline service to bowlers and potential sponsors. Getting older means getting better for Lois Morgan of Summit, Missouri. The 71-year-old Morgan became the oldest woman in Women's International Bowling Congress history to roll a perfect game. It took Lois 51 years of bowling to notch her first flawless line. Team bowling saw another of its oldest records fall as the Burghardt Optical Squad from Toledo, Ohio came within 1 spare of a perfectly clean 3-game 5-man series. Team members opened only once during the first game on their way to a 37-44 team series. Perhaps we will see team captain Craig Burghardt, who just recently moved to Florida, at the upcoming World Team Challenge event at Seminole Lanes in St. Petersburg, Florida next January. The High Roller, the world's richest amateur megabuck tournament series, recently announced its 40-49 Classic has been opened to senior players. The 40 and over Classic will run from January 20th, 1997 at the Showboat in Las Vegas. Defending champion Ken Darwin will be on hand to defend his title. Darwin is a member of the Contour Power Grips team that captured a Brunswick World Team Challenge qualifier last season at Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California back in March. Around the Bowling World has been brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments. Call 800-257-6179 for information on how to enter. The Brunswick World Team Challenge from ABC West Lanes in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania returns with our championship match after these messages. And welcome back to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, ABC West Lanes here, and this is our championship match between ESP, the tournament leaders, and the guys that are making it happen, the Strike-In Bowling Supply team, who won that opening match by 12 pins.
There's Darryl Bower. Washout on the first opportunity.
Take a look at the starting lineup here. A Contour Power Grips starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips. They are the pioneers in the finger grip industry, and more pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Darryl Bower, Steve Levering, Gary Bauer, Ken Brewbaker, Roger Horst. And the washout. Not an auspicious beginning, but maybe a little nerves to get started here. The Bower boys are very experienced players, and we're going to see, I think, some good bowling here.
And the second Baker match for strike-in bowling supply. Ron Legler, 3 strikes and a spare in that first match. Leaves a weak 10.
Ron got a lot of side rotation on that ball, a lot of spin, so the ball was rotating on a very small axis, and when that happens, if it doesn't flip or turn over and grip the lane, it'll leave that weak 10, and the ball just never really gripped the lane, so he got a lot of deflection off the ball when it hit the head pin. And that's what they call the weak 10, and that's the reason for it. The ball deflects.
And Legler with 90% marks in match play, picking up that spare. Early advantage for strike-in as we get our first look at Steve Levering for ESP. And in case you're wondering, Earl, it has nothing to do with the Sixth Sense. It's Effective Software Products, a computer software company.
See, I'm glad you explained that, because I really didn't know, and I was kind of wondering if these guys had something going for them that nobody else did there. See, a little extra.
Levering crossing over, leading the 10.
All right, there's opportunity for their first mark, and he'll get that spare. He's going to use his strike ball. This is one of the few guys you'll see do this. Most of the guys, maybe he's using a strike ball for his spare ball for his strike ball. That's a possibility.
I've seen it happen on that condition, Earl.
Cross lane and good cover. Excellent.
Levering picking up the 10.
You know, Trophies Unlimited, our team that was defeated in the opening match, did win a $500 bonus for their 242 game that they bowled, but it wasn't enough. But that high roller $500 bonus will ease the pain a little, I'm sure.
Nephew solid in the pocket.
He's bowled extremely well, made good shots almost every shot, Mr. Nephew, and this is, I think, his first chance at the team challenge, so he's performed quite well.
Our first look at Gary Bower, proprietor here at ABC West. Average 194 during the 6-game qualifying block. Coming up a bit short. Everybody's coming up a bit short on this side.
Well, I think, again, it's a little bit nerves and a lack of being aggressive. They're kind of trying to play it safe almost, you might say, and not get in any trouble. Just make a good shot and hope something good happens rather than being aggressive. And we get a look at Jack and Lillian Bower, the proprietors here at ABC West Lanes, and very interested in watching their 2 sons trying to win this team challenge championship at their home court, you might say.
Home court, parents on hand.
How can you lose? Got everything going for you.
Gary Bower with the spare. Not looking happy, although happy enough to fill the frame is certain. Bob Hoefer. First 3 bowlers for the strike-in team in that first match, each with 3 strikes and 1 spare. That's a lot of strikes on the top of the order.
Boy, he looks really serious when he gets up there. This is the difference, I think, between the 2 teams right now, is how aggressive strike-in is as opposed to ESP. They seem to be attacking the pocket. ESP seems to be kind of playing it safe. Here's another look at that last shot, and this is an excellent ball. Just a little bit behind the head pin and not quite enough hit to get out that 10, but just unfortunate that the head pin didn't come off and take it out. Cross lane for the spare, switching to his spare ball. Good cover there.
Now we'll take a look at some of the other finishers here at ABC West Lanes. Thunder and Lightning out of Fulton, New York, finishing 4th.
And B&S Bowling Supply from Wichita, Kansas.
Here's a team that finished 2nd here in Mechanicsburg last year. Sports Plus, Carmen Dunn.
And there's a team you might see some familiar faces. Ted Hanna, Steve Fair, Nick
Bill
Sang, all outstanding players.
Clark's Cab, State College, Pennsylvania, finishing 8th.
And Columbia Turbo 2-1, finished 9th from West Carrollton. And bringing up the end, Fat Johnny's.
From Wayne, New Jersey, finishing 10th. Strike-in Bowling Supply out to an early 13-pin lead. We'll be back with more right after this.
My grandfather started Lynn Shoe Company in 1919. That's a lot of years, a lot of bowling shoes.
Jeff Lind, president of Lind Shoes.
Bowling's changed over the years, so have our shoes. We offer different soles and heels in many styles to fit your game. One thing that stayed the same over 75 years, that's the Lind quality. That's the key. Our shoes are comfortable, durable, and they perform. We're proud of Lind Shoes because they keep getting better.
We care as much about bowling as you do.
Looking for more strikes and more bowling fun? Then look no further than Going for the Gold with Team USA coach Fred Borden. As today's top instructor, Coach Borden will show you ways to reach your full potential. Professional bowlers Mike Albee and Leila Wagner work with Coach Borden to show you the sure way to higher scores. This 12-lesson video is available for only $24.95.
And we're back. Ken Brewbaker for ESP. You see his qualifying average of 200. This our championship match here at Mechanicsburg, ABC West Lanes. I'm Earl Anthony, along with my sidekick this week, someone new for you, Mike Jakubowski. Mike doing an outstanding job for an associate producer.
I think that's the first time anybody's ever said that in the history of TV, Earl.
All right.
Ken Brewbaker.
The lefty. It's kind of an interesting lineup that you're going to see ESP putting out there. They finish with two lefties. Fourth and fifth place bowlers are both left-handed, and this not that difficult a spare for a left-hander. He's got plenty of lane to play with, and he'll hook it into this spare, try to get both pins with the ball. Oops, got you see that number he's putting back on his chest there? That tells you what position he bowls in, and that got stuck on his bowling ball. He's having a little problem there. That's the first time I've seen that happen here in some 80-some shows that we've done. It's the first time I've ever seen anybody put the number on the bowling ball instead of on their shirt.
Yeah, I'd hate to ask the tournament director, Tom Bodecker, to make a ruling if the ball went down with the number on it. Brewbaker unable to convert in that situation, however. And ESP is looking at 2 of their first 4 frames with opens.
I think a lack of experience is starting to show very early in this match, and ESP is in trouble. They need Gary Bower and his brother Darryl to talk to these guys, get them a little more relaxed. They look like they're at a funeral rather than trying to bowl to win this championship. And they're fortunate that strike in is keeping it close for them by that kind of a mistake right there, which obviously not something he wanted to have happen, but the 4-6 through the middle of the head pin, and this looks great going to this point, and then just rolls up a little high in the head pin, the 4-6, and he'll take 1.
Yeah, they've seen that before today and had it converted. Unfortunately, couldn't get it to kick out of the back in that situation. Kretchmer open.
Well, here's our first look at Roger Horst. Big Roger. He's a truck driver, and he's 40 years of age. He has a league average of 220, average 206 here this week, and they all seem to have a little problem with those numbers jumping onto their bowling balls.
Got all of that one.
Roger doesn't leave it in the bag, I'll tell you what. He does get it all. He gets it out there on the lane some 10 or 12 feet, and we'll take another look. Watch the loft on this shot. He gets it out there about 12 feet, I guess, and still has plenty on it to get it back to the pocket. Roger's pretty happy that one's over with.
And if anybody struggled perhaps a little bit in that first match, it was Ray Sear, Earl, with a strike, 2 spares, and 1 open in his opportunities. See if he can get it going here in the 5th of the first game of this 2-game Baker match for the championship here at ABC West.
Got it down early, and it hooked early, crossed over. Looked like a left-hander's ball hitting that 5-pin that time, but he got the job done. Another look at that shot. Watch the ball start to hook right here, and when it does, it's going away so hard that it creates the 2-pin jumping into the 5-pin, almost like a blow 5 or rip rack by a left-hander.
Second shot for Darryl Bower in the 6th for ESP. Never get a chance to get back.
Yeah, and they obviously weren't watching when the right-handers on the Trophies Unlimited team were playing just between the second and first arrow instead of outside the first arrow. So Darryl's not going to get a good ball reaction out near the channel. He's going to have to move it between the first and second arrow and make that same aggressive up the board shot instead of trying to hook it. Got away with that one. Tough spare, but he covered it on the hard side.
Ron Legler, 25 years old, owner of Strike In Bowling Supplies. Yelling, get up.
Well, again, a lot of side rotation on the ball, and he cannot give it any room and expect it to get back. He's going to have to line it to the pocket if he's going to turn it that much or spin it that much.
Seems to me both teams are coming up a little short. Is it carry down playing in effect at this point?
No question, the oil will carry down. The reactive resin balls move it quite quickly, and in fact they actually absorb oil off the lane and take it out of the first part of the lane, the head area. And sometimes it's not so much the oil moving down as the bowlers get that dry effect in the first part, so they have to move into an oily area to get the ball to skid.
And Sear picking up the spare. For strike-in bowling supply, take a look at some qualifying averages. Strike in with 200 and maintaining a 6-4 one-loss record in the match play.
Look at Trophies Unlimited at 8-2, outstanding.
And again, a very exciting round by round, perhaps one of the most exciting Baker match plays we've had in a while, with a lot of teams moving around.
The 3-game sweeper results: Brian Ruzala, I believe that's how you say that, from Buffalo, New York.
Doug Becker picking up some money from Altamont Springs, Florida.
Mike Wolf from New Albany, Indiana.
And strike-in bowling supply, the 13-pin lead. We'll be right back.
The American Bowling Congress and the Lynn Shoe Company are offering a one-time only ABC 100th Anniversary bowling shoe. The shoes are gold stamped with ABC Centennial and Lynn logos and individually numbered heel plates. You can help the American Bowling Congress and improve your game by purchasing a pair of Lynn Centennial bowling shoes. I personally recommend Lynn shoes, and a contribution is being made to the ABC for each pair sold. Lynn's, for the scoring edge.
Getting the proper feel is important to every bowler. Grip inserts provide you with that proper feeling on every shot. That's why today's top professionals choose only Contour Power Grips, and you should too.
Contour Power Grips, manufactured by the pioneers in the finger grip industry, Pro Sports Systems. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. Ask your Pro Shop professional for Contour Power Grips, the grips that legends use.
You only get 15 minutes of fame.
Unless you take someone else's.
11 strikes down. 10 pins up. 1 ball to go.
And we're back, ready to complete this first game of our 2-game championship match between Strike-In Bowling Supply and ESP, the local team. And ESP doing a little struggling right now. Strike-In with a 13-pin lead after completing 6 frames.
It's a great opportunity for a team. We were speaking about the ESP team, and they're a tournament team, and it's an opportunity for folks across the nation to get a look at a really good regional team from the Pennsylvania area here in the Brunswick Team Challenge.
Gotta hurry. Oh boy, that made me a little nervous. I didn't think that was going to quite get back, but he knew what he was doing, no question about it. Got the spare. And Mr. Nephew here has been really tough today. He has thrown a lot of good shots and been very successful. His ball coming in a real good angle to strike.
Get up, get up.
He's talking to that one. Almost got the wall shot. Mike leaving only the 4-pin, not a difficult spare for the right-hander. You can see, watch this ball go down the lane. This one will give you a little bit of a headache watching this ball go down there. Looks like a dice cube inside that ball rolling down the lane. ESP needs to get something going. They don't want to dig themselves any kind of a major hole, even though Strike-In has yet to make a move. Anybody's match. Darryl Bower up on the left-hand lane now. And Gary looks like he likes this one a little better. He didn't quite get there. They keep expecting the ball to grip the lane, and you can see he's...
that ball almost looked like it spun more than it rolled end over end.
Right. He's playing a little farther in toward the middle of the lane, trying to get the ball to hook a little more. And there's another look at that spare ball. That's a very unique type bowling ball there. It's a see-through bowling ball. The 2-4-5 for Gary Bower, and he's going to go right over that third arrow and try to hook it just enough to cover, and he did. Shaking his head. He expected that ball to react a little better on that strike shot, I think, Mike, and he just didn't quite get it to hook. I think he might have thrown a little hard. That's part of the problem.
Bob Hoefer, 35 years old, making his first Brunswick World Team Challenge TV appearance.
Over the seat.
And the baby split to 310. Let's see if he gets the up there. They're handing him his spare ball. Teammates are useful for a lot more things than just bowling on your team. They can hand you your spare ball, keep you informed, tell you how to play the lanes, all that kind of stuff. Now he's going to get up there and stand there to the left, and he's going to try to fit it between the 310, get both pins with the ball. That's the ideal situation.
I know I feel terrible, Earl, when I'm bowling in this kind of format and I miss a spare.
Great shot there. Great cover.
Even more so than when I'm bowling for myself.
Well, this is the kind of format that will really tell you how good you are. You find out very quickly if you are truly a 200 average bowler bowling in the World Team Challenge. Ken Brewbaker, his second time around in this opening game of our two-game match. It's a chance to load it up in the 9th frame for his team. Get it to the anchor on the strike, and he does. Trips the 6.
Brewbaker with a very unusual release. He kind of gets his elbow and twists the wrist.
Yeah, well, both their left-handers are very unusual. Here's another look at that, Mike. You can see he kind of figure-eights the ball. In other words, he opens it up and then closes it at the bottom. Elbow flies out to the left, but the ball's already gone before that does have any effect on the ball. So he still gets good heavy roll on it.
Kretchmer asking for the ball to sit.
Well, the team has had trouble getting the ball up to the pocket on the right-hand lane. Then he made a little bit of a move, went a little more direct, and the ball went too high. Now the 3-6-10, another tough spare for the right-hander. He'll go stand to the left of the approach, use as much of the lane as he can, try to get the ball between the 3-6. Just like picking up the baby split, same idea. Just fit it between the 3 and the 6. Good cover there. Well, anybody's match. Actually, ESP, first to finish this opening game, their anchorman up on a strike in the 9th. Chance to take it out for 190 and maybe establish an early lead here.
Actually pretty happy to be only down by 11 pins at this point. Roger Horst with the opportunity to cut that lead to just a single stick.
Looking good.
Oh, solid 7.
Oh boy, and he couldn't have thrown it much better. It just looked to me like that was a great shot. A solid 7.
Horst was just basically pounding the pocket the entire Baker match play. 28 of 53 strikes for 53%.
Outstanding. There, another look at one of those balls you can see through. This one you can see all the way through pretty much, except the weight block inside. That's what that is in there, folks. That's the weight block, and that's what determines when you drill a ball what it's going to basically do, how it's going to react on the lane by how you position that weight block in relation to the holes you drill in the ball.
Kind of also looks like the centerpiece of Thanksgiving too, the gelatin mold perhaps.
That'd be good, right in the middle of the dining room table. Probably pretty hard to chew, but all right, the count ball, and this will do it for ESP in their opening game, and they're just hoping strike in doesn't strike out in the 10th.
And there he is back in the pocket. So Roger Horst finishing strong for ESP here in our first of 2 Baker games in this Baker match to decide the championship here at ABC West Lanes. Ray Sear, 62% strikes in match play. Covered a lot of ground, but didn't get back, Earl.
And it looked like he softened it up a little bit to try to get it to hook back, but it just wouldn't make the turn for him. And not only did it not get back, but he needs to pick this spare up to maintain that little bit of a lead they do have, and it's not an easy spare. The 2-8, and again, he'll want to hook it into this spare, try to get both pins with the ball. He's going to use a strike ball. probably play basically a strike line, move his feet a couple boards, 3-4 boards to the right, look at the same target he does for a strike, and just hook it into it. Let's see how he does it. Just like that. Well done.
Bing bong. Picking up the spare is Sear.
No, not the scores we saw in our opening match, but definitely a very competitive match. 170 to a possible 179, so this championship still very much up for grabs.
Definitely going to be interesting to see who can take advantage in the early going once they complete the lane change.
And maybe part of the reason we saw the low scores is the oil is moving around, Mike. As it goes down the lane, it goes through a transition. The bowlers have to adapt to it or adjust, and maybe they will in the second game. We might get some better scores then.
We'll be back with the second game of our championship match. A strike-in bowling supply with an 8-pin lead. It's anybody's ball game at this point. We'll be back right after this.
And Mike, we're back for our second game of this championship match between Strike-In Bowling Supply and the local favorites ESP. An 8-pin difference. Strike-In Bowling Supply at this point 8 pins ahead with 1 game to go in this our championship match. And here we go. First shot of that last game. Oh, got away with one. Crossed it over.
Legler crossing over for the strike.
Neither team seeming to be very well lined up now in this lane pair 43 and 44 at ABC West Lanes here in Mechanicsburg. Darryl Bower on the team that's leading going into this, and Darryl Bower bowling leadoff for his team. His parents here watching, and a lot of the people in the area who know and respect the ability of the Bower brothers, wondering what's going on out there. Of course, they've never bowled on a team challenge lane condition, so they don't know that Darryl's probably making pretty good shots, but struggling to get a good ball reaction, and that's what it's all about. You've got to make extremely good shots, and that's what makes it so competitive on the team challenge. The Brunswick World Team Challenge, and there's Mom and Dad saying, what's going on out there? This is not the way he bowls league. And Darryl getting 5 on the first ball and 4 on the second for an open, and not the way you want to start this second game of this championship match. When you're already down by 9, you don't want to give the other team an opportunity to run away, and this young man, Mr. Nephew, has been outstanding. And again, he's there.
Strikes for the early double.
Very impressive the way he's competed. His first time in the World Team Challenge, and of course first time on the telecast. Here's another look at that shot. Now watch how he's playing the lanes. He's going pretty straight down and in on the third arrow with a lot of good side rotation, but good ball speed. The ball goes into a heavy end over end roll, and you see what happens, the 5 pin to the 7.
Steve Levering in the pocket, kicks the 10.
Well, they need to get it going, and they know it because they're running out of frames, and the strike-in is already on a double. We can't forget that the opportunity here in any of our games for a possibility of $500 bonus from the high roller high score bonus. High score bonus is brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series. A team that bowls 240 game or better will get a $500 bonus, and if you bowl a 450 series for the 2 games or better, you get another $500. So that opportunity is still there for strike-in, starting with that double. Just need to stay clean, get a few more strikes. Of course, they're thinking, let's win this thing. That's what they're thinking.
And Hoefer with the spare.
You know, it so often happens the tournament leaders get in trouble, and the reason I think that happens a lot of the times, not all the time, but is because the team that wins the opening match is a little more acclimated to what's going on out there and bowling in front of the television cameras, and they feel more comfortable with the lane condition. They've been bowling on it as it's gone through its transition. So they tend to, especially in the opening game of the championship series, tend to have a little more comfort zone, you might say. Right now, ESP struggling on both lanes, and the crowd, you hear them clapping behind, trying to get them started, trying to get something going here.
I can feel it up here. They just are looking for someone to give them a spark and get something going.
Strike-In Bowling Supply winning that opening match over Trophies Unlimited from Richmond, Virginia, 424 to 436. So the opening match, both teams scored well. And Trophies Unlimited did win that $500 bonus with that 242 game, but it wasn't enough to win the match. So Strike-In Bowling Supply here with a chance to win the championship and go to the Grand Championship.
And here's Ryan Kretchmer, only of his teammates to have any Brunswick World Team Challenge TV experience.
Gave it a little too much room this time and left only the 1-2 for a moment there. A very difficult spare, the 1-2-7, but gets away with the 7 falling out. See him switching balls, getting his shoes ready. What he's trying to do is make sure that he doesn't slip. And so he's putting a little moisture on the sole of his shoe, which will be gone very quickly. Just a touch to keep him from. So he can plant his sliding foot, throw the ball hard. It's really what it's all about.
And Kretchmer picking up the spare, part of the 95-96 National Championship team at the University of Nebraska. Pretty storied bowling career at the tender age of 22.
22. That's a long time ago. Conversely, look at the ages of the team that is leading the tournament. We talked about that, you and I, Mike. An average age of what did we come up with?
43.
43. These guys average in age. So this young man right here is 49 years old. Same as that number on his shirt. No, excuse me, he's 51 years old. Number is 49. Ken Brewbaker. He's a truck driver along with Roger Horst. Both these guys left-handed and both truck drivers. So
certainly
I'm sure they don't drive down the left side of the road, though.
Sure. And also a good opportunity for league teams out there that have, I hate to say older, but certainly more experience, to have the opportunity to come out and test this lane condition as Brewbaker chops.
Yeah, we've got a real problem going on now for ESP. They're in the second game with 6 frames to play, and right now they're down by 38 pins, and things are looking kind of dark for the local favorites.
Strike in with a 38-pin lead. And Ray Sear looking to strike.
I'll tell you, he really looks like he's into it, doesn't he? I mean, he has concentration. But he just can't seem to get a good ball reaction. He's struggled to get the ball in the pocket area. Throws plenty of ball, a lot of rotation on the ball, and plenty of ball speed, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get a good break point that he can get it to enter the pocket. It's either high or light, high or light.
You get into that situation where you throw the ball and you give it enough room right and it won't come back, and you play deeper and crosses across the nose and you just can't find a...
You sound like you've had that happen to you.
I've had that happen very recently, in fact.
All right, cross lane with his spare ball, hard and straight. Be careful. Oh boy, I was a little worried about that one too.
It's frustrating, and it can, you know, the rest of the team can pick up on that as well.
Are you saying you bowled in a World Team Challenge? Or did you just bowl in a league somewhere?
I bowl in a league, actually, that has a team challenge condition.
And what did you bowl, by the way?
I bowled in 2 leagues where I picked up my first 700 series in the first league, and then I opened up with a 119 in the team challenge league. So
I see.
It makes a little difference to have a challenging shot.
Yes, it does. Another great shot from Roger Horst. And tell you what, this guy can get it done. A lot of ball speed, a lot of loft. And we'll be back with more of this championship match in a moment. Due to time constraints, we return to the action in the 10th frame. As you can see, only a 1-pin difference between these two teams. And coming up in the 10th frame and feeling the pressure, Ray Sear. And Roger Horst watching anxiously. Knows exactly what the score is as he looks at the score sheet. He knows whatever this young man does, he has to do at least that much. Best shot of the day. Best shot of the day, and when they needed it the most. And as you mentioned, Mike, that's why they're in that position. That's why they wear the number 50. They're the anchor man. They're the guy that you can count on, or you expect to at least count on, to perform for you in the clutch. And this is the biggest shot of the tournament for him. The wall shot, a little bit light, got the 5-pin going both directions. Ray Sear now, the one that he needs more than any other shot, the chance to double. This could be the winning shot of the tournament. Roger Horst knows he has to perform.
Got him. Got him to fall. Gave it some room, Earl. He trusted it, and it came back and got them all.
Well, if my figures are right, if he strikes again, it's a shutout by 1 pin. The close Roger can now, if he gets 9, we could have a tie. So this is going to be something to see.
10 to win.
Strike here, wins the championship. 9, we could have a tie. 8, they could lose.
Ray Sear with an opportunity to win it for Strike-In Bowling Supply.
A little more direct. Well, here we are.
We left ourselves open.
We have a chance for a tie. Roger Horst,
cut and dried here, Earl.
Needs 3 strikes. We'll just sit back and watch and see if Roger can do it. One at a time, 3 strikes to tie.
He threw a bunch during the course of qualifying. Does he have 3 left?
This is what bowling's all about. Now you're not bowling a singles event here. You got 4 guys depending on you, and that's when you really feel the heat. You know, when you're bowling singles, if you make a mistake, so what? You only hurt yourself. But if you make a mistake now, you got 4 guys who are going to make you walk home, truck driver or not.
You feel worse when it's 4 other guys depending on you.
No question.
2 strikes to tie, 10th frame. Championship match.
Woo, got a lot of that one.
And he got it to fall.
Oh my, the 3-pin tripped forward, and that one didn't really come off his hand very well, and he has to feel pretty fortunate right now, along with his teammates, because this ball really didn't look like it had a chance to strike. He had all kinds of things standing there and
doing the dance and
yes,
bringing it home.
But it's not over yet. Remember, this is to tie. He needs a strike to tie. 9 or less, they lose. Strike to tie.
Got a chance. Got it all right. We'll go to a 2-frame roll-off.
We will go to a 2-frame roll-off, and the teams are allowed to pick 2 guys to represent them in this 2-frame roll-off, and it'll probably be Roger Horst for ESP, but we're just speculating at this point. You can see Darryl Bower, the captain of the team, trying to determine who he wants to bowl, and he's pointing at somebody over there. At the same time, Strike-In Bowling Supply will have to make a decision on the 2 players they want to represent them, and I would have picked Mr. Nephew myself. I don't know who they're going to pick, but
it's like Ryan Kretchmer.
Ryan Kretchmer, here we go. Up on the left lane, and they'll bowl it there. 9th and 10th on the left lane. It's be a 9th and 10th frame now. That means that the person that bowls second will get 3 opportunities to bowl for a strike.
Kretchmer got it to fall. Left the solid 9 briefly.
This is the only time I've ever seen a tie in a championship match on the Baker system. And how good do you have to perform? Both anchormen really did a job, didn't they?
Steve Levering will move into the 4-9 position in this roll-off, needing to match Kretchmer's strike.
Soft speed, giving it a lot of room.
And he answers. Oh my.
This is great stuff here now, folks. This is as exciting as it's going to get. I don't care what you're watching. Team bowling at its best. On a strike. Whoever misses first is probably going to lose. That's the way they have to look at it, so they can't afford to make a mistake.
Ray Sear with 2 big strikes in his 10th to get him to this point.
The first one here would be so big for them because it would put Roger Horst in that position of needing to match him.
Great shot under that pressure, Earl.
Best shot he's made on the telecast today, and Roger's sitting there knowing he's got to do it again. And he's probably in the back of his mind, what's the matter with this guy? Doesn't he ever make a mistake? Come on, give me a break here, you know.
No defense in this game.
No defense. I'd like to arm wrestle Roger for the championship. I don't think I would. All right. If he strikes out, they still don't have a win until Roger bowls. Oh, he gave that way too much room. No chance there. And the bad thing is not only did he not strike, but the count. The count is disaster. All right, he got 6 pins. The most he can have for the 2 frames is 46. So Roger would just need a strike and basically hit the head pin, which is no easy matter. The first strike is the key. He'll have to get up and get the first strike and 7 spare or more to win the championship. Assuming that he picks this spare up here.
Oh,
that's not even close.
Just lost it on the bottom.
All right, Roger. Well, you do feel the heat, right?
Still needs to throw the first one.
Well, each shot is more and more dramatic, and each one means more. And Roger's team, I'm sure with their hearts in their mouths, sitting on the bench waiting for this one last shot for Roger to make a good one. And you can see he doesn't want to watch.
There's no worse feeling.
Basically a strike to win. That's really what it comes down to, a strike in any kind of count. Oh, it's a good shot.
Oh, he got it again.
He did it again. He tripped the 3-pin forward again. Amazing. When it's your day, it's your day, folks. And here's another look at what happens. Watch the head pin go to the side, kick the 3-pin forward, excuse me, the 6-pin forward into the 3. Amazing.
Perhaps a little extra knowledge from the home team, Earl.
I tell you what, if this was me, I would get away from the edge of the lane right now on this shot and throw it right down the middle, hard and straight. Just hit the head pin. All he needs is good count. What you don't want to do is have it fall off the lane into the channel. It's
And the messenger, no, but enough. Enough. ESP is your winner. Congratulations to ESP. We'll be back right after this.
You're a winner, and you deserve recognition. In sanctioned leagues and tournaments, 2 million awards are handed out each year by the national governing bodies of bowling, the American Bowling Congress, the Women's International Bowling Congress, and the Young American Bowling Alliance.
But your membership card entitles sanctioned league bowlers to more than the awards program.
There's more than $1 million each for college scholarships and veterans hospitals, bowlers supporting their communities.
Every member has a chance to compete in thousands of special events, locally, nationally, and internationally.
Sanctioned leagues also provide for the standardization of rules and supplies, plus league prize money is bonded.
Equipment testing and research helps advance the sport.
Your membership card does all that.
And every lane is inspected annually by local association volunteers. In short, everything runs smoother, and sanctioned leagues are a lot more fun.
So have more fun and help shape the future of bowling by making sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies, the ABC, WIBC, or YABA.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Keepsake, designer and manufacturer of championship ring awards. By Bud Light, make it a Bud Light. And by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies.
And here are our champions, and we'll see you next time in Orange County, California.
The next Brunswick World Team Challenge telecast is a women's division event from Regal Lanes in Orange County, California. Check your regional sports network listings for dates and times. For Mike Jakubowski, this is Earl Anthony. So long from ABC West Lanes in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. This has been an ABC Eagle Productions telecast.